All right, it's the afternoon of December 7th, 2025. I want to make an update. I haven't done it for like 3 weeks probably on Project Clover, which then became Project Asphalt. But now I've decided it will be Project Clover because despite it not being that expensive to, well, it is expensive, but I mean, it's affordable. It is about 1 million yen. It's like, 7,000 US maybe, to asphalt this whole area up. It would have been cool to have a playground, but I think, according to my friend, I could grow crops here, and I think that's very interesting. And I mean, asphalt's pretty cool too, right? You know, crush like rock and I don't know, heated binders or whatever. But I gotta say, I like walking on uneven surfaces like this sometimes, This was mentioned also in Nicholas Taleb's book. I think it's called Anti-Fragile. It's a fantastic book. Just telling people that, some systems are robust, some are fragile, and some are anti-fragile. The anti-fragile stuff is things that actually improve or get better with mild stress. Best example is human body. If you don't work out your muscles, they start to atrophy, right? So I don't know how it all ties in exactly, but I will say that walking on uneven surfaces, I feel, is for some reason good for the brain. The kind of unpredictable nature of what will happen to like the land here, the fact that I can shape portions of it to my will, not all of it at once, is I like it. Asphalt ends up becoming a big slab of like, it's about like 20 centimeters deep or something. It's basically a foundation base, right? Something like some kind of crushed rock, like standard base, and then comes the asphalt on top, which is not that thick. It could be like 3 centimeters, right? It's one block, and it starts to crack. It looks ugly after 15 years. That's what I call, fragile. But it's not anti-fragile. You have to pay and repair it constantly. This is self-maintaining. But I will try to grow clover. I have planted some seeds, and indeed, some have sprouted. Hopefully they will grow to be more than just that. I did this many years ago, and again. And more to the point, though, without context, this won't make any sense, but this place was a jungle a week ago. No, a month ago. 2 months ago. It was an even bigger jungle 6 months ago. 6 months ago. And I didn't have to hire anybody to clear it all out. It's not done yet, but I go at my own pace. It's great exercise, great reason to go outdoors. But the greatest reward I feel about doing this all by myself is that I feel happy, It doesn't matter. I feel like my whole life there's this incessant feeling of if you don't make money, what the hell you doing, man, right? Money is everything, right? No, it's not. I think money has astronomical value to the point where you need to survive, shelter, food, safety. Those things are non-negotiable. You need money if you don't have those things. The real trick lies in once you've secured those things, do you keep pursuing money? Yes or no? And this is the important distinction that people have to make, I think, even myself, is where do you draw the line at you've got enough? And some people define their whole existence as getting more. And the thing about getting more is, I have to realize, is that more, the pleasure of getting more after a certain baseline for money at least is, well, can you get it at no cost? Meaning that it doesn't take your time. It doesn't take your effort. It's a trade. You're gonna trade your time for money, your sanity for money. You spend all your time indoors for money. That means you trade your health for money. At some point, it starts to look like you're kind of an indirect slave to money. And that I don't like. All right. And one of those things that we're like, you volunteer to become a slave because you love it. You worship money. It's the way out of the mediocre life, which is why one of my friends, he's a very intelligent guy, he told me a long time ago in Toronto that I believe he worded it as like, when does it all end? Where's my entourage or something like that? I don't know. I maybe you know, distorting what he said, but it kind of felt like, geez, don't you have enough, right? Like, you work at a very nice company, you have a good salary. Like, do you have to keep driving forward so hard like this? And then another one was my neighbor in Toronto who said, like, you can't show up at a business meeting in a Mazda because it looks terrible. You gotta show up in a Benz. Like, are you crazy? Like, what is this? My friend, though, he was very aware of what's happening. He's called it status inflation. Back in the old days, if you drove a Mercedes, it was like really nice. Now, I don't know. I don't want to get involved in that world. That world is insanity to me. It is ridiculous. I kind of cringe at people who flaunt that kind of wealth as a way of saying, I'm holier than thou. I was tempted to do that when I was making a lot of money passively, but I'll tell you this, okay? That's a dumb car right there. I'm sorry. That's a really dumb car. It's very loud. Doesn't go very fast. If the pursuit of straight up money, just because it makes you feel like a somebody or that you're better than someone else, that is one of the most unhappy pursuits I think you could follow in life, because I've been there. It's never ending. Okay? You may not be satisfied until you reach number one, which is, what is it now? Elon Musk? I don't know. And chasing that in your life is going to be stupid, I think. I mean, if you can use money for something interesting, if you want to do a business you've always wanted to run, that's a completely different story. Money is a tool after all, and I have to say, like, everyone's got their own style in life, and you got to discover it. I think, like, not everyone is wired to go to like big business meetings or like show up in a suit and like discuss like how to rule the earth. Some people are just not wired that way, and I'm not wired that way. And what is this guy doing? Who is this person? I look at people with suspicion these days. What is this person doing? Anyway, I want them to careful eye. Well, point is fresh air, good light, free from the, I don't want to say tyranny, dogma, free from the dogma of other people. You choose the people you want to be with. You avoid the ones you don't like. You deal with reality, the constraints that are placed against you in life, with dignity. And you don't let people walk over you. And people do that all the time. And, no, it's my neighbor. Oh, it's the typical Japanese over politeness and over humility. Makes me cringe a lot, but it's the way they run things. Anyway. So, Project Clover is still underway, but it's more not really Project Clover. It's more like I want to, I don't know. We'll see as we go along, Like, it's an ongoing thing, and it's not about the result. It's just about getting out every day, having some fresh air, getting in that sunlight. I'm telling you, it's not fluff. There's science to back it up. You go outside, stop looking at screens, stop eating fast food. Really, you read about the science, about the whole thing, how fast food came to be. how your brain works, how your digestive system works, what your body actually needs in nutrients, and it all kind of makes sense. It all coincides with how I actually feel when I eat these foods or don't eat these foods. And life becomes not like a thrill joy ride, but more of a quiet, quiet, very modest and quiet experience that's, I think I can enjoy it very well until I get old and die, honestly. And that's a very nice feeling to have, I need to you need a house though. I think if you don't have a house, I don't know. I mean, I could surely manage with a nice apartment too, but I could not live like this if I was crammed into like a tiny space and like those. I don't think that's humane, actually. We accept it today as normal, but I don't think that's humane. That wraps it up. Also, Doobie and Gooby, that channel, very good. This former neurosurgeon who's now wandering nature with his dog talks about all sorts of things, mostly mindfulness topics. I think it's a great channel. This guy is very good at explaining things, a very natural teacher. Although it's not like he precipitated all these changes that I have today. I always tell the story that it was the nurses. It was the nurses for sure. One in particular, I'll never forget her. She saved my life because she was the first person after 40 some years. It wasn't my parents, it wasn't my wife, it wasn't my first wife, it wasn't anybody. It was this one person who somehow demonstrated to me in the most quiet action ever that my life was worth living. And it didn't hinge upon making money, making someone proud, achieving a certain status point. And you might think that's cringe, that's loser thinking. Well, I tell you what, if winner thinking leads you to become suicidal, anxiety, taking pills, in my mind, that's the loser way out. Seriously. Again, the net result is you live life with dignity. You try not to you try to listen to your body. Try to make people, as best as you can, content around you. But if you can't, protect yourself first. That's about it. And just stay true to yourself.